What if the most dangerous person in your life doesn't look dangerous at all? They don't threaten you. They don't raise their voice. They don't reveal their intentions. Instead, they smile, earn your trust, and quietly shape the way you think, without you ever realizing it. Carl Jung believed the greatest danger isn't found in obvious villains. It's found in people who have never confronted the darkness within themselves. Every human being has a hidden side, a shadow filled with fears, anger, envy, pride, and desires we would rather ignore. Most people spend their lives pretending this part doesn't exist. But according to Jung, what you refuse to face never disappears. It simply moves into the unconscious, where it begins influencing your decisions, relationships, and behavior from behind the scenes. In this video, you'll discover the warning signs that reveal when someone's hidden shadow is controlling them. These aren't random personality traits. They are deep psychological patterns that can help you recognize manipulation, hidden motives, and dangerous behavior before it affects your life. Stay until the final section, because the last lesson brings everything together. Once you understand the one sign Jung believed you should never ignore, you'll never look at people's smiles, kindness, or confidence in quite the same way again. Number 1. The smile that hides a shadow. The most dangerous people rarely look dangerous. They don't arrive with anger in their eyes or threats on their lips. They arrive with warm smiles, calm voices, and a personality that immediately earns your trust. That is exactly what makes them so difficult to recognize. Carl Jung believed the greatest threats often hide behind the strongest masks, because the darkness people refuse to face inside themselves rarely disappears. It simply learns how to smile. Every person carries what Jung called the shadow, the hidden side of the personality containing fears, envy, resentment, selfish desires, and impulses that society teaches us to suppress. A healthy person acknowledges this darkness and learns to control it. A dangerous person pretends it doesn't exist. Instead of confronting it, they bury it so deeply that everyone believes they are incapable of doing harm. That perfect image should make you pause. When someone appears flawless in every situation, never expresses frustration, and constantly projects kindness without a single crack, you are often seeing a carefully maintained persona rather than their authentic self. Jung warned that whatever remains unconscious gains power. The longer the shadow is ignored, the stronger its influence becomes behind the scenes. This is why some of the biggest betrayals come from the people nobody suspected. They spend years protecting an image while their hidden frustrations quietly grow beneath the surface. Eventually, the mask slips for a single moment, revealing a side nobody expected to exist. Do not judge people only by how pleasant they appear when everything is easy. Watch how they respond when they lose control, face rejection, or encounter someone who challenges their identity. Pressure exposes what comfort successfully hides. The smile itself is not the danger. The danger is believing a smile tells you everything about a person's character. According to Jung, wisdom begins when you stop judging appearances and start paying attention to what people constantly struggle to hide. That awareness is often the difference between being manipulated and seeing the truth before it is too late. Number 2. The mask that never slips. Some people never seem to break character. No matter what happens, they always know exactly what to say, how to behave, and which emotions to display. At first, this consistency feels reassuring. You assume they are emotionally mature, confident, and trustworthy. Carl Jung saw something far more unsettling. He believed that when a person becomes completely identified with the mask they present to the world, they slowly lose contact with who they truly are. Jung called this mask the persona. It is the version of yourself designed for acceptance. Everyone has one because society demands it. You act differently at work than you do with family. You choose certain words, hide certain thoughts, and adjust your behavior to fit the situation. That is normal. The danger begins when the persona becomes so important that the real personality disappears behind it. A person who never lets the mask slip often spends more energy protecting an image than understanding themselves. Every conversation becomes a performance. Every relationship becomes another stage where they must appear intelligent, generous, or morally superior. They are no longer expressing who they are. They are defending who they want everyone to believe they are. Watch carefully when life becomes unpredictable. Genuine people occasionally reveal uncertainty, admit mistakes, or show vulnerability without fearing that their entire identity will collapse. Someone trapped inside a perfect persona cannot afford those moments. Every flaw feels like a threat, so they hide it at any cost. That constant performance creates a dangerous distance between appearance and reality. The larger the gap grows, the more pressure builds beneath the surface. Eventually, the hidden emotions, fears, and desires demand an escape, often in ways that shock everyone who believed the mask was real. Jung warned that the persona should serve your personality, not replace it. When someone clings to an image with absolute determination, ask yourself what they are protecting so desperately. The strongest warning sign is not that they wear a mask. It is that they seem incapable of ever taking it off. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and comment shadow below if you're ready to understand the hidden side of human nature. Number 3. They hate in others what they secretly are. Have you ever noticed how some people become irrationally angry over flaws that barely affect them? Carl Jung believed the answer often has nothing to do with the person being criticized. Instead, it reveals something hidden inside the critic. One of the clearest signs of an unconscious shadow is the habit of attacking in others the very qualities a person refuses to recognize within themselves. Jung called this psychological projection. Rather than admitting uncomfortable truths, the mind pushes them outward, convincing itself that someone else is the problem. The dishonest person constantly accuses others of deception. The jealous person insists everyone envies them. The manipulative person is always warning you about manipulators. Without realizing it, they expose the parts of themselves they desperately want to deny. This pattern is difficult to detect because it sounds convincing. Their accusations often come with confidence, emotion, and detailed explanations. You may even begin questioning your own character. That is why projection becomes such a powerful psychological weapon. It shifts attention away from the real source of the darkness and places it onto an unsuspecting target. Pay attention to repeated emotional reactions rather than isolated opinions. Everyone dislikes certain behaviors. That is normal. But when someone becomes obsessed with condemning the same flaw in nearly every person they meet, ask yourself why that particular issue triggers such intense emotion. According to Jung, the strongest reactions often point toward the deepest inner conflict. This does not mean every criticism is projection. Healthy judgment stays balanced. Projection feels personal, relentless, and emotionally charged because the unconscious is defending itself from an uncomfortable truth. The most dangerous part is that people trapped in projection sincerely believe they are innocent. They are fighting an enemy they cannot see because it lives inside them. Once you recognize this pattern, you stop accepting every accusation at face value. Instead, ask one question: are they describing someone else, or are they unknowingly revealing themselves? That question alone can protect you from manipulation long before the truth becomes obvious. Number 4. The calm that isn't peace. Not every calm person has found inner peace. Some people appear impossible to upset. They rarely raise their voice, never argue openly, and seem emotionally unshakable. Most people admire this behavior, assuming it reflects wisdom or maturity. Carl Jung offered a different perspective. Sometimes what looks like peace is actually emotional suppression, and suppressed emotions do not disappear. They wait. Jung believed the unconscious stores every feeling a person refuses to acknowledge. Anger, resentment, humiliation, jealousy, and fear may be pushed out of conscious awareness. but they continue influencing behavior from the shadows. The calmer someone appears on the surface, the more important it becomes to ask whether that calm is genuine or simply controlled silence. There is a difference between emotional mastery and emotional avoidance. A person who has mastered themselves understands their emotions without becoming controlled by them. A person who avoids their emotions pretends they do not exist. From the outside, both people may look equally composed, yet their inner worlds are completely different. Watch what happens when life stops going according to plan. Someone with genuine self-awareness remains steady because they have already faced their inner conflicts. Someone who has buried those conflicts often reacts in surprising ways. Years of silent frustration can suddenly explode over a small disagreement, leaving everyone wondering where such intense anger came from. This is why unexpected emotional outbursts rarely begin in the moment they appear. They are usually the final release of feelings that have been ignored for months or even years. The explosion is visible, but the real cause has been hidden beneath the surface all along. Jung warned that whatever remains unconscious eventually seeks expression. It may appear through anger, manipulation, passive aggression, or behavior that seems completely out of character. The warning sign is not calm itself. It is calm that never allows space for honest emotion. Never mistake emotional silence for emotional health. True peace comes from confronting the shadow, not imprisoning it. The person who understands their darkness is usually safer than the one who spends a lifetime pretending it does not exist. Number 5. The need to control everything. Some people cannot relax unless everyone behaves exactly the way they expect. They want to control conversations, relationships, and even the decisions other people make. At first, this may look like confidence or leadership. Carl Jung believed it often reveals something far more troubling. The stronger a person's need to control everything around them, the less control they usually have over themselves. Control becomes an obsession when someone fears their own unconscious. Instead of facing inner uncertainty, they try to organize the outside world into perfect order. If people disagree, they become irritated. If plans change, they grow anxious. If someone refuses to obey, they feel personally attacked. Their real struggle is not with other people. It is with the hidden chaos they refuse to confront within themselves. Jung argued that whatever remains unconscious continues influencing behavior without permission. A person who never faces insecurity often tries to dominate others because control creates the illusion of safety. Every command, criticism, or demand for obedience temporarily hides the fear they cannot admit to themselves. Watch how they react when they lose influence. Emotionally healthy people adapt, negotiate, and accept that not everything can be controlled. Someone driven by unconscious fear often becomes manipulative, passive-aggressive, or hostile the moment their authority is challenged. Their confidence disappears because it depended on controlling the situation rather than mastering themselves. This pattern slowly destroys relationships. Trust is replaced by supervision. Respect becomes obedience. Honest connection disappears because people begin avoiding conflict instead of expressing themselves freely. The controller mistakes compliance for loyalty, never realizing that fear can imitate respect only for a while. Jung believed real strength is measured by your ability to face uncertainty without becoming its prisoner. The person who understands their inner world has little need to dominate everyone else. When someone's desire for control becomes greater than their ability to understand themselves, you are no longer witnessing confidence. You are witnessing fear wearing the disguise of authority, and that is a warning sign you should never ignore. Comment aware if you've ever met someone like this, and subscribe to uncover the psychology most people never notice. Number 6. The person who feeds on your self-doubt. Not every dangerous person tries to break your confidence in obvious ways. Some do it so quietly that you barely notice it happening. After spending time with them, you question your decisions, your abilities, and even your instincts. Carl Jung believed people who remain disconnected from their own shadow often seek relief by weakening the confidence of others. Instead of confronting their inner emptiness, they look for someone else's certainty to dismantle. These people rarely begin with direct criticism. They disguise it as advice, concern, or honesty. They praise you one moment, then plant a small doubt the next. They question your choices, minimize your achievements, or subtly compare you to someone else. Each comment seems harmless on its own, but together they slowly reshape how you see yourself. Jung understood that insecurity often searches for company. A person who feels powerless inside gains temporary comfort by making someone else feel uncertain. If they can make you depend on their approval, they gain influence without needing genuine respect. Pay attention to how you feel after repeated conversations. Healthy relationships leave you feeling understood, even when they involve difficult truths. Manipulative relationships leave you feeling confused, inadequate, or constantly seeking reassurance. That emotional pattern is rarely an accident. The most dangerous part is that this manipulation usually happens gradually. Your confidence is not stolen in one conversation. It disappears through hundreds of small moments that slowly teach you to distrust your own judgment while trusting theirs instead. Jung believed self-awareness is the strongest defense against psychological control. The better you understand your own fears, strengths, and weaknesses, the harder it becomes for someone else to rewrite your identity. They can only exploit the doubts you refuse to examine yourself. Never ignore the person who consistently leaves you questioning your worth, while making themselves appear wiser, stronger, or more certain. Genuine guidance strengthens your confidence. Hidden manipulation quietly replaces it with dependence. Once you recognize that difference, you become far more difficult to control, because your sense of value no longer depends on anyone else's opinion. Number 7. The people who fear their own darkness. The people who fear their own darkness are often the ones most controlled by it. Carl Jung believed every person carries a shadow, but not everyone is willing to face it. Many spend their lives pretending their anger, jealousy, resentment, and selfish desires do not exist. They convince themselves they are always kind, always reasonable, and always right. Yet the parts they reject never disappear. They simply move into the unconscious, where they quietly shape thoughts, decisions, and relationships. The more someone fears confronting this hidden side, the more power it gains. Instead of accepting responsibility, they blame circumstances, criticize others, or invent excuses that protect the image they have created. Their greatest battle is not against the world. It is against the truth about themselves. Jung warned that avoiding the shadow does not make a person better. It makes them divided. Outwardly, they appear confident, but inwardly they are constantly defending themselves from emotions they refuse to acknowledge. This inner conflict slowly affects every relationship because they react to hidden fears rather than present reality. Watch how someone responds when their flaws are exposed. A self-aware person may feel uncomfortable, but they reflect, learn, and grow. A person terrified of their own darkness becomes defensive, hostile, or desperate to shift the blame. Protecting the illusion becomes more important than discovering the truth. This fear creates a dangerous cycle. The less they understand themselves, the easier it becomes for unconscious impulses to control them. They believe they are making rational decisions, while hidden emotions quietly pull the strings behind every choice. Jung believed real psychological strength begins the moment you stop running from yourself. The person who has faced their shadow is far less dangerous than the one who spends a lifetime denying it exists. When someone fears looking within, stay alert. The greatest danger is rarely the darkness they hide from others. It is the darkness they continue hiding from themselves. Number 8. The one sign you should never ignore again. After everything Carl Jung discovered about the human mind, one lesson stands above the rest. The greatest danger is not intelligence, confidence, charm, or influence. It is a person who refuses to become conscious of their own shadow. Someone who understands their darker impulses can question them, restrain them, and choose a different path. Someone who denies those impulses exist has no reason to control them. They believe every action is justified, every emotion is righteous, and every mistake belongs to someone else. That is why unconscious people can become far more dangerous than openly dishonest ones. Look beyond appearances. A pleasant smile can hide resentment. A calm voice can hide bitterness. A perfect reputation can hide a lifetime of denial. Jung believed that what remains unconscious eventually finds a way to express itself. Sometimes it appears through manipulation, sometimes through cruelty, sometimes through betrayal, but seems to come without warning. In reality, the warning signs were always there. Most people simply chose not to see them. The safest people are not those who claim to be perfect. They are the ones who openly admit they have flaws, question their motives, and continue learning about themselves. Self-awareness creates responsibility. Denial creates blind spots. And blind spots are where the greatest psychological dangers begin. This lesson also applies to you. Before searching for the shadow in everyone else, learn to recognize it within yourself. The fears, anger, envy, and insecurities you acknowledge lose much of their power. The parts you ignore quietly shape your decisions without your permission. Jung believed true transformation begins the moment you stop running from your own darkness and start understanding it. That single decision changes how you judge people, build relationships, and protect yourself from manipulation. So if there is one sign you should never ignore again, it is this: be cautious of anyone who believes they have no darkness at all. A person who cannot face themselves is often the one least able to control what they are truly capable of. This isn't about becoming suspicious of everyone. It's about becoming conscious of what most people never see. Carl Jung believed the greatest protection isn't learning to control others, it's learning to understand yourself. The moment you recognize the shadow, both within yourself and in those around you, manipulation begins to lose its power. If this video changed the way you see human nature, don't let the lesson end here. Subscribe for more insights into Jungian psychology. And remember, the people who seem the safest are not always the ones you should trust the most. Stay aware, stay conscious, and I'll see you in the next video.